Hi, hello, welcome to my channel. That was Luna, and I'm Ellie with Read with Ellie. This is my very first video, and I'm really excited for that. I'm reading a lot, and I thought, why not start sharing my reading journey with you guys? And I thought the first book we should start with, this channel, we should start with Divine Rivals from Rebecca Ross, which is an amazing young adult fiction fantasy. It even counts as a fantasy book, even though I have to tell you that the fantasy elements in this book are not that much. So if you're looking for like a high fantasy romance story, this is not it. But it was really cute, very well written, nicely structured. It ends with a crazy cliffhanger, and I almost freaked out yesterday because of that. And yeah, in general, I would say that this book is a mixture of the movie Email for You and the anime called Violet Evergarden. Both of them really cute and iconic in their own way, and I think this book actually captures both of this. Like, yes, she needs attention. Luna, by the way, hated the book because the main guy, he's allergic to cats, and now she's angry with him. And she was gone the whole time now. I don't know why she has to be annoying right now. Anyway, the story is about two Gryffindors. Both of them are definitely Gryffindors. They're really rash in the way I feel like they act before they actually think about stuff, which is a very Gryffindor kind of behavior. And yes, I thought it was a really cute book. His name is Roman C. Kit. But later in the book, he gets called Carver. And with Carver, I associate a completely different thing than with Kit. So I actually have no clue what this person actually looks like. But like, my image of him was first with Kit one thing, and now with Carver it was something completely different. And now I'm like, I'll just stick to Kit. Like, I'm just considering how much I can say without actually spoiling anything. But we have our two main people, a girl, which is actually our main character. We mostly follow her. And her brother enlisted for war, which actually tore her family apart in some ways. She started working. At work, she found her rival, which is why it's called Divine Rivals, with this guy called Roman C. Kit. And it's actually just a really cute romance story. I personally would give this book 4 stars, which is actually a really high rating. It's not quite 5 stars, and I can't even really tell you why it's not 5 stars. I will definitely reread this book. It's definitely one of the top books I've read this year, but it's not 5 stars. So yeah, I'm sorry about that. But it was really a solid read. I loved it. I really did. Offense to that. So I recommend this to everyone. Which is amazing, because I can finally recommend something to my sister. I've read so many books that I can't recommend to my family. So I'm really glad I finally read one that I actually can recommend to my family. So yay! Alright, guys. Enjoy my very first reading vlog. Hi, hello. So it's 2 a.m. I'm at work. I have been reading a lot lately, so I'm trying to share my book reading experience of Divine Rivals from Rebecca Ross. And yeah, here we go. So I'm 23% into the story. First up, let me say that I love this writing style, and we have some really nice bits and pieces so far that I liked and that stuck with me. So I will just like tell you the things I've annotated or like underlined so far. Her brother is leaving her brother left for war. He got the call from a goddess. Our main girl, we know, she accompanied her brother to the train station in the prologue and promised him to stay in school and take care of their mother. And then when he got to the train and they said goodbye, she realized that he put a little paper into her bag saying, just in case you didn't know, you're by far the best sister I've ever had. and I'm so proud of you, and I'll be home before you know it, little flower. Which was really cute. I was sitting there like, oh, adorable. Like, don't get me wrong, I have 3 brothers now, okay? 3. None of them would do that. Like, I mean, I'm also the oldest sister, so, but still, I'm lucky when I come home and my brothers are like acknowledging me in any way. Right, the next thing is, yes, I love this. She was really angry with her brother for leaving, and she's like, how can you love this goddess more than me? How can you leave me like this? And she wrote this in like a letter, and she keeps writing those letters for her brother. We are following the story like 6 months after her brother has gone to war. She has by now started working at a newspaper, one of the best newspaper, like the most read newspapers from their city or their land. And she would write those letters to her brother though, and she would not send them. She would just put them into a shelf, and the shelf makes them disappear. And she would just assume that with this magic system they have, that her brother gets the letters. Like, she would not question it. She's like, okay, the letter is gone now, and like that's all she can do. And she's like, all right. And she was like complaining in this letter how hard life has been for her, and how difficult things are for her with their mother drinking and like grieving for her son who has gone missing in war. So yes, all right. And then we go into this work atmosphere where there's romance, see Kit. And guys, I swear, like, I don't know if you know Cinderella, like the live action one with Lily James. If you don't, it's such a cute, fluffy movie. I love it so much. But Prince Charming would be called Kit in this setting, and it just reminded me of it. Like, they keep calling the main person, like Roman, they would keep calling him Kit, and I could just keep seeing in my head the actor from that Cinderella movie who was also the actor of the oldest Winterfell kid, like the Stark family. So he's really handsome. So whenever they say that, I'm like, I have Prince Charming in my head. Yes, but they're both like trying to get this position. They're both rivaling for the same position at work, and that's why they're called divided rivals, like this book. All right, but then she has written this really pissed, this really angry letter to her brother, and she suddenly got a letter back for the first time, and it just said, "This isn't Forest." And she was standing there like, what? Which was like, I was sitting there and I was like, this did not just happen. Of course, Roman gets all the letters, and he caught on really early on that those are the letters from her. And this whole interaction afterwards was really, really entertaining, because she was like, okay, who are you then? And she was like really accusatory. Are you reading other people's letters? And he was like, this letter was on my floor. Like, what am I supposed to do? And she's like, okay, yeah, sorry, I'm not gonna send another letter. And he was actually really upset about this. And we would get his point of view by then. Like, and he was like, okay, all right, I should actually be happy about this. Now I don't have to tell her that it's me because she hates me. And then she would totally stop writing, and she would feel so embarrassed. He was like, by all means, don't stop on my account or on the account of my floor. I claimed who I wasn't, and you then quite naturally asked who I am. But I think it's better this way, that we'll keep our identity secret. But you already know her identity. And just rest in the fact that some old magic is at play here, connecting our doorways. But just in case you were wondering, I'll gladly read whatever you write. I think it's better that way, that we keep our identities secret. You already know her identity. What are you talking about? Like, I read that and I was like, this did not just happen. Okay, but then we're following them around, and like some key moments happened. His father arranged a marriage with some Dr. Little and his daughter. So Kit is supposed to marry the daughter of this doctor, which he really doesn't want. He's never met her. He's really unhappy with this. On the next day, his father is like publishing the announcement in the papers. So everyone at work knows. And we know our main girl, she goes and it's like, hey, congratulations, and offers him to help with his article he's supposed to write with the lost cases of the war. And she gives him an interview saying that her brother is lost at war. And then we have another key moment where we find out that her mother died, and she actually had to go to the police station to identify the body. And that was just a crazy moment. She was not feeling well at all, like, of course not. And she would wake up at home to knocking, and then Roman slash Kid would, like, he came to check up on her, and he's like, are you okay? What's wrong? What's going on? And she's like, yeah, no, I'm fine. I'll be back at work again tomorrow. I'm just a little bit sick. And then she was writing a really big letter to the mystery boy, where she's like saying how she feels and how sad she is that she lost this person, and she feels so alone. And he wrote a really big letter back saying how he lost his sister, and that was also a really touching story. Like, this writing style is really, really good. You really get pulled into it, and I'm working while listening to it, but I'm still like really into it. So which is it's a really good writing style. And yeah, that's actually what I've got so far. You're all caught up right now. I'm actually curious what's gonna happen next. Like, of course we all know they're gonna fall in love, but we'll see how it goes. That was really cute right now. Kit got the promotion because we know is grieving because her mother died, but no one at work knew that besides Kit. And it was so cute. Kit was like, hey, I don't feel like this is fair. Her mom just died. Not even her boss realized it, and she wrote the obituary, like he published it, and it was crazy. And now the boss is like, is this true? I just went from teary-eyed to what the fuck just happened. That was crazy right now. Like, her boss was like, why didn't you tell me anything? I could have helped you. I can't change the decision right now about the position, but if you need time to grieve, like, if you can totally have days off. And she's like, no sir, I'm turning in my resignation. She said, rising. Roman shifted beside her. What? No, Mr. Autry, Seb ignored his newly appointed columnist and sputtered, your resignation? You want to quit on me, Winnow? Just like that? She hated the way he made it sound like she was giving up. But now that she had voiced the words, a weight slipped off of her shoulders. She was going to find Forrest, her brother. Yes, sir, it's time for me to move on. And then, like, Kit is still like, what? Winnow, no, you can't go. Like, that was crazy right now. Oh my god, we are just finding out that the typewriter she's using from her grandmother is like a really fancy typewriter. And there's like this, it's such a fancy typewriter, it even has its own history. The 3 typewriters magically connected because Alouette's father, decades ago, made these 3 so that they could correspond with each other. So it stands to reason now that Roman also has one of these old typewriters, and that's how they can communicate with each other. So I'm really curious if, even though she later goes away, like, his letters would still reach her because of this. We'll see if I'm right. Yes, I knew it. I knew it. Alright, so she's in the other city now, 600 kilometers from Oath, and she just woke up on her first night, which was crazy. They got into really in a really small city or village where there's everything really silent, and they went to their boarding house, and she and another person who also just started being a work correspondent, and they got like a crash course what to do when you hear this siren, do this, when you hear that siren, do that. And now she went to bed and woke up feeling guilty about her mother's death because she feels like she could have prevented the death by simply looking for her mother, but that night she decided against it, thinking everything was gonna be alright. So she feels guilty now, and she woke up from the nightmare and wrote the letter saying, hey, I don't think you're gonna read this, but I think we have a magical wand. And it was a really cute letter. And then he was like, what? You're 600 kilometers from Earth. What are you doing? So yes, I knew it. Yes. Oh, and yes, she's supposed to go to talk to like this medical station, infirmary. And so it's probably something like Violet Evergarden. It gives Violet Evergarden feels with this plot point. Okay, we're like 42% into the book. She's still at this other city now. They're texting back and forth with this typing machine, and it's really cute. But they're falling in love with each other, which is fine. But now she asked for his name, and he has a middle name, which we knew about, but we didn't know his middle name. And his middle name apparently is Carver. And now she asked for his name, and he said, you can call me Carver, which is, it will not be a lie, but he knew that when he says that, she would not know that it's his name. So I'm like, drama. Oh my god. But he, at least he feels bad about this. They had such a cute texting thing. Like, she was like, would you want to meet me? And he's like, yes. Like instantly, he's like, yes, but you're not here. And then he was like, yeah, but if you ever come here, we can do this and we can do that. We can do whatever you want to do. Just come and meet me. And it was just so cute. So I actually finished the whole book yesterday. I started it yesterday and I finished it yesterday. I went to work at 10 p.m. and I finished the book on the next day on the afternoon. So it took me less than 24 hours to read this, and it was amazing. I mean, I also have to tell you that I listened a lot of it over audiobook. What happens next? I'm pretty sure I didn't tell you yet that Roman actually went to the war front where she is. She's amazing. I love this. I loved this whole section actually. He went there and it was in the middle of a siren, and there were these big things flying above, and Winnow was told when she got there that whenever this happens, she's not supposed to move. Best is to be in the house and not move, but if she's outside, lay on the ground and don't move. All right, but Roman came and he did not know any of that, and he was like, la 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 la, running around on the field, and they heard the siren, and Winnow looked out of the window, and Winnow looked out of the window and saw Roman on the field, like la 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 la, this is that. She was like, oh my god, what are you doing? And then she sprinted to him, and the correspondent was like still in the house, and she's like, oh my god, what are you doing? Stay inside. But she sprinted outside, and she's like, oh, stay down, don't talk, and be silent. And she was like completely frantic, which I get. Like, this was that was actually really scary. And she saved his life. And afterwards, he was like, yeah, the train broke down and I had to walk all the way here. So he walked a really long while, and then he came there, and the whole city almost got bombed down because he didn't know the rules, which was crazy. But then Roman stayed at the same boarding house like they did, and Winnow and him started going for runs, and they had a really, really cute romance budding. And after a few days, General came and he was like, all right, it's time. I have another place for one of you to go to the front lines and talk there how things are and write stuff down and stuff like that. And it was actually Winnow's turn, because the other time her friend went, who's also there, and now it was her turn. And Kit, he just came, so he was like, it was not his turn. Kit was like, okay, but if she goes, I'll go too. And the officer was like, the general was like, no, I told you there's only one space. And he was like, okay, then I will just stand on the footstop, like on the footrest there. I don't need a seat. And the general was like, all right, okay, do whatever floats your boat. And before this whole general interaction, he actually just wrote the letter where he says that he's the mystery guy. Which, by the way, the mystery guy is called... He wrote a really cheesy letter, which was really cute, about how he likes her and stuff like that. And she didn't finish reading it because they were going to the front right now. But she took the letter with her, and yes, a lot of stuff happened then, but they almost died at the front there. And Kit rescued her, but he has a leg injury now. And everything went wrong from there. Like, it was a really fluffy book up until then, but as soon as this war thingy was with the front lines, from that point on, it was just one hit after another. In between that, they actually married, which was also really cute. Like, it felt kind of rushed though. It was a little bit rushed. But it made sense because with him almost dying and this whole war situation, they were like, we don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. And they were right, because they married, and literally on the next day, the whole city got attacked. And for some reason, the brother she was looking for, he came and whisked her away. Completely left Kit there. And so in the end, you have no clue if he lives or dies. You have no idea. It ends with a crazy cliffhanger, because she keeps writing to him like, hey, I'm so sorry. It wasn't me. It's not me who went away. It was my brother. He took me. I thought it was you. I'm so sorry. I hope you're well. Please answer me. And like, he never replied. And I was sitting there crying so much. It was crazy. Like, I was really sitting there like, no, Kid, he's gonna be dead. Everything is gone. They just married. They won't even have babies now. This is all so sad. And my roommate is like, didn't you tell me there's a second book? I was like, yes, but what if it's just about their ghosts reuniting in the afterlife and they're not actually together? So I had a small breakdown. But other than that, I'm completely fine. No, it really was a good book. Go read it. I didn't tell you everything. I just told the things that struck with me most. What were the parts that struck most with you? What were your favorite parts? What were your moments where you were like, oh, this is so cute? So yeah, guys, I'm really curious about how you liked it, and I would love to hear from you. So bye. See you next video.